This week on Mikey's Miracles, we turn to Quora and we help Sally Lou answer the question, how do I tell my parents about bad grades? As we approach the new school year, you're going to be in tip-top shape in the event you fail that exam or the teacher hates your paper. So fear not, Sally Lou, because we are here for you. Now, in order to understand why parents care so much about grades, we have to go back to the beginning and understand, why do they have kids in the first place? Yes, people love children, they want to have a family, but there's actually another reason we have kids that no one really talks about. And that brings us to our first fact of the day. And that is, people have children because they have failed in life and they need a successor to overcome their own shortcomings in life. Look no further than myself. I'm spending my free time answering questions on Quora. Do you think I've made it in life? No. I peaked as a JV athlete in high school and I've been in rapid decline ever since. So that's why I had a kid, so that hopefully he could succeed and restore honor to my family. So with this newfound knowledge, we can see that our parents are also shareholders, and we are the stock they have invested in an attempt to make their lives successful. And that is why parents care about good grades, because it's a sign that their stock is moving in the right direction. See, you didn't think this was going to get so deep, did you, Sally Lou? Because now that we know this is more of a business conversation, we're going to switch to the thing that the corporate world loves best, PowerPoint. The business world is all about talking your way out of a hole, and there's no better time to get started than right now. So we are going to have a shareholders meeting with your parents. Here's a presentation we can use with your parents, and it's going to have the following agenda: a recap, challenges from the current year, a roadmap for our plan moving forward, and finally, a brief closing. We're going to start with a recap of the year. Now, these are some sample images I've put together, which you're more than welcome to use, but I would recommend you try and put some in of your own. Maybe some pictures of your family vacation, of you guys splashing around at the lake this summer, or maybe when grandma had too many $2 margaritas at Applebee's and had too good of a time. Something to really get the nostalgia vibes going in this presentation. That's going to make your parents start to feel good before we get into the bad news of the bad grades. So after this sentimental recap, we're going to move into the challenges slide. Now, the goal of this slide is to ease our way into the bad grades. It's going to remind our parents that we have more than school going on in life, and then it's going to soften the blow when we get to the grades. So here are some examples of challenges you can include in your own presentation. The challenges of being a teenager during a pandemic. Taco Bell and the Mexican pizza. Is it here to stay? Is this permanent? What's going on? Quit playing with my feelings. Inflation. How is my future going to be impacted by all this inflation? And finally, I got a D on my chemistry exam. Now at this point, your parents are probably going to get upset. They'll probably interrupt, say, wait, what? How'd you get a bad grade? How could you do this to us? It's important here to make sure you don't let them take control by interrupting. Make sure to step in and say, please hold all questions until the end of the presentation. Thank you. And then continue moving on. Otherwise, there's a chance this could derail your meeting and you'll lose your audience. Now, as all great leaders do, they persuade. It doesn't matter if it's truth, if it's a lie. All that matters is a story. And that's what we're going to sell them on our roadmap slide. This is where you look your parents in the eye and you say, Mom, Dad, I know there's an injustice, but here's how we're going to write this. So I recommend breaking your roadmap into 3 categories: immediate, short-term, and long-term. This is where we're going to list out exactly how we are going to get back on track, and it's going to build credibility with your audience. In the immediate term, we're going to reflect on the mistakes we made, on where we went wrong, and then we're going to temporarily stop hanging out with Rebecca. Now, this is Friendship 101, Sally. Everyone needs a Rebecca. This is going to be the friend who takes the fall for you. So what do we do here? We blame Rebecca. In the near term, then, what we do is we study weekly, get ready for any pop quizzes that may come up. We also inquire about any extra credit opportunities that the teacher might have for us to help us boost that grade. And then we're going to reanalyze our friendship with Rebecca. Make sure she's really a right fit in our lives. Now, this is just surface talk to make Mom and Dad feel better. Rebecca's definitely our girl, and she's not going anywhere. Finally, in the long term, this is where we'll continuously apply our newly developed study habits. We're going to guarantee A's and B's on those remaining chemistry exams to bring that grade up. And then finally, when she's ready, we're going to slowly incorporate Rebecca back into our life. Finally, you can do your closing. This should be something that's very simple, very brief, such as you can see, over this past year, we've accomplished a lot together. We've laughed, we've cried, and while we have hit some recent challenges, it's important to know that the best of the year is yet to come. Boom. At this point, you can stop the presentation and take any questions. Now here's what to immediately expect following the presentation. Your stock's gonna go down and you're probably gonna be grounded. But you have to factor in the intangibles here, Sally Lou. The whole point of this presentation was not to tell your parents you got bad grades, but to show them you are a visionary. You see, later that night, your parents are gonna be laying in bed, doing their crossword puzzles, reflecting on where they went wrong with their daughter. But those intangibles are gonna creep in and start making your stock value go back up. They're gonna start thinking about the quality of this presentation and how professional you handled this situation. They're gonna think about how you actually had a roadmap. Can you name another teenager that puts roadmaps together? I know I can't. And finally, they'll realize you've actually been a pretty good daughter up to this point. So, all in all, it's been a pretty darn good year. So, what did we learn today, Sally Lou? Well, we learned that while it's never fun to get a bad grade, if you can put together a killer presentation, you can really deliver your way out of that hole and minimize the damage. And most importantly, you'll be back to hanging out with Rebecca before no time. Now, I'm going to put a link to this presentation in the description of this video. That way, you do not have to build your own presentation from scratch. You can even use this one verbatim if you'd like. All right, Sally Lou. Now, good luck in your presentation. It's been a pleasure. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get that grade back up in chemistry. You take care of yourself, and God bless.